As the ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula is currently briefing members of the media on the appointments of the newly reconfigured Gauteng Provincial Task Team. Let's take you live there.
That you yourselves, colleagues, members of the media, have been following very closely, hot on the same exercise that was undertaken in the province of KwaZulu-Natal yesterday. Without any further waste of time, and the SG will of course introduce comrades that are joining us on this table. Without any further waste of time, I'm going to hand over to the Secretary General to walk us through the statement. Thereafter, we will take questions and proceed in that particular order. SG.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mahlengi. The mic. Thank you very much, Comrade Mahlengi, spokesperson, and the leadership of Gauteng with us here, which we will introduce to you towards the end of this statement. And ladies and gentlemen of the media, thank you for being patient with us. In terms of time, you have been here early in the morning. It took us a bit of time to outline the content of our business, the business of the newly inaugurated provincial task team. This process was concluded with our structures in the 5 regions of Gauteng, which were briefed in the past weekend about the decision of the National Executive Committee. Our structures throughout the province of Gauteng welcomed the decision of the National Executive Committee in relation to a reconfiguration of the province. And we want to thank all ANC members who have conducted themselves with decency and decorum throughout this process to enable us to conclude on this matter in a proper, well-informed and disciplined way. That is how the ANC that is renewing itself should conduct its business. And we also want to thank everybody in the leadership of the ANC in the province of Gauteng who have also conducted themselves in a disciplined way throughout this process. Of course, there were a few skirmishes there and there, those who are ill-disciplined, but nonetheless, the ill-disciplined acts were outweighed by the overwhelming disciplined fashion our structures have conducted themselves. So for that, we want to thank them. Secondly, we want to thank all the comrades who have agreed to come and serve in this provincial task team of Gauteng, which we had an opportunity to engage and talk to. Some did apologize because of work commitments and so on. But majority of the members of the task team came to the meeting with 10 apologies that were accepted, and there were very reasonable apologies that we got from members of the ANC who were asked to serve in this committee. The African National Congress remains firmly committed to the renewal and the strengthening of the movement in Gauteng, ensuring that the organization continues to be an effective vehicle for transformation and development. The National Executive Committee has taken a strategic decision to reconfigure the provincial structures, reinforcing leadership in a way that builds on experience while embracing new energy. Gauteng holds immense historical and political significance as the center of the struggle against apartheid and the host province of the ANC's national headquarters, Luthuli House. It was in this province that key moments of resistance, including the 1976 Soweto uprising and the mass defiance campaigns of the 1980s, shaped the course of South Africa's liberation. Today, Gauteng remains a vital political battleground where the ANC must consolidate its leadership to advance transformation. The NEC acknowledges the discipline and unwavering commitment demonstrated by ANC structures and members during this period of transition, reaffirming the strength and resilience of the movement in the province. The decision to reconfigure Gauteng's leadership was not taken as a punitive measure against the PEC for losing elections. Rather, it is a response to the need to ensure the ANC's organizational effectiveness in the country's most populous and economically significant province. The 41% national vote outcome in the 2024 elections was heavily influenced by results in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, making these two provinces central to the ANC's overall renewal and recovery strategy. The NEC engaged in extensive deliberations to determine the best course of action, ensuring that the intervention was politically necessary and constitutionally sound. The reconfiguration process is not a departure from the ANC constitution, but is in fact aligned with its provisions. The NEC has acted within the framework of Rule 12.2.2, 12.2.3, and 12.2.4 of the ANC Constitution, which mandates the NEC to ensure the effective functioning of ANC structures. The decision reflects the ANC's commitment to constitutionalism and the rule of law. The immediate task in Gauteng is to rebuild ANC branches, leagues, and structures so that they are actively engaged in local development and responsive to the needs of the people. The ANC brand and communications must be strengthened to reaffirm the organization's leadership role in the province. Ethical leadership and discipline will be prioritized to address corruption, construction and human settlement extortions, crime, deepening economic transformation that benefits our people, and gender-based violence. Preparations for the 2026 local government elections will be a key focus, with the objective of reclaiming the lost ground and ensuring the ANC remains at the center of governance in the province. The NEC has resolved that the provincial task team will oversee these objectives and work towards stabilizing the organization and preparing it for future electoral contests. The leadership collective being put in place will integrate the current PEC into an interim structure, reinforced with former leaders and veterans to provide guidance and ensure continuity. This intervention seeks to strengthen the ANC's capacity in the province and deepen its connection with communities and key sectors of society. The Gauteng Provincial Task Team has been inaugurated here today. It is led as co-conveners by Comrade Amos Masondo on my immediate right, and the provincial convener, Comrade Panyaza Lusufi, and the deputy provincial convener, Comrade Ntombi Mikhwe, next to Comrade Panyaza, and provincial coordinator next to me, Comrade Hope Papo, and provincial deputy coordinator Nomantu Rally Hoko Nkomo, and provincial fundraiser Tasnim Mutara. They will be supported by a working committee, which is as follows. Uhuru Milwa is going to convene organizing and campaigns. Joy Piri, convener of DCIP. Mbali Klope, convener of arts and culture. Jane Mananiso, convener of gender and equity. Bekin Kosi, convener of political education. Trevor Fowler, convener of local government interventions. Advocate Nandi Patselenyani, convener legal and monitoring. Dr. Bandile Masuku, convener education and health. TK Ngiza, convener policy monitoring and evaluation. Nandi Pamayatula Koza, convener legislature and governance. Sizake Lenkosi Malobani, convener elections. Lebogang Maile, convener sectoral mobilization. Tebogo Litsie, convener peace and stability. Ezra Litsualo, convener economic transformation. Peace Mabi, convener international relations. Morakani Musupe, convener social transformation committee. Matume Chilwani, convener of drafting. Dipu Mvelase, convener provincial disciplinary committee. Noneba Kalega Mazibuko, convener Commission for Religious and Traditional Affairs. Mzi Kumalo, I don't see him here, or is here. Is our provincial spokesperson and ex officio in the provincial working committee. The provincial working committee shall be made up of the PTT officials and all subcommittee conveners. The convener of the Provincial Dispute Resolutions Committee shall be Deputy Provincial Secretary. The convener of Fundraising and Finance Committee shall be the Provincial Fundraiser. We have deployed all members to the regions. We have deployed members to various subcommittees. And yeah, so all of those are in the statement that will be issued in terms of who belongs to what subcommittee. So as of today, Gauteng will be run by a provincial task team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With that, Comrade SG, I will at this point invite questions. I'd like to start to my left. And ENCA, then there's Power, and then maybe a bit of a zigzag, Newsroom, and Sunday World. And I'll take those four speakers initially for now. Can we use this mic? Yes, thank you.
Bulele Treaty Jones, ENCA. SG, you spoke about ill-discipline acts which were outweighed. Did you at any point receive any kind of pushback or resistance from the decisions that would have been taken from today? And just maybe lastly, how optimistic are you of this PTT? You speak about recovering lost ground ahead of the local government elections. Are you confident in this PTT? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Nkosinathi Shazi from Power FM. News. My question is towards the, okay, it's not the chairperson, a co-convener of the Gauteng PTT. So, Mr. Panyaza, of course, you were elected by the mandates of branch delegates at the 2022 Gauteng provincial elections. You served as premier, now you're the co-convener of the Gauteng. Number one, does this feel like a demotion? Number two, will this affect your work in your position as state premier of the Gauteng? And with the announcements of the conveners, will they not play a big brother role as we head towards the local government election? So will you have to approve everything to the co-conveners, or do you still have the autonomy and authority to make your own decisions? Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. Newsroom.
Thank you very much. It's Zianda Ngobo from Newsroom Africa. I'd just like some clarity. How have you gone about, Mr. Mbalula, the selection of some of these veterans who've been brought in for reinforcement, and what is the confidence that you have in them and their level of connection to the branches, firstly, that they'll be overseeing, but also the connection to the communities that you hope to reconnect with? And a question of clarity, how long are you giving yourselves to have these PTTs in place? Are you going to host conferences anytime soon, or are you going to see out the respective terms of the previous PECs, which are now provincial task teams? So when are conferences happening, just as a matter of clarity? Thanks.
Thank you very much. Sunday World.
Thank you very much. My name is Mawande. I work for the Sunday World. SG, as a starting point, there's this circulating WhatsApp message about a threat of legal action, which purportedly was sent to you. First of all, probably the question is to confirm with you, did you receive such a message? If you did, do you know the genesis or where it emanates from, the crafters of that message? And have you received anything else more formal than a WhatsApp message in the form of a letter in a letterhead from a law firm talking about such a thing? And if you do confirm such and you got it from legitimate ANC members, what course of action would you take against such people who would interrupt this process that you are engaging in? And then maybe, I know probably it's a repetition of a question that was asked in KZN yesterday. What happens now to Mr. TK Ngqiza, the provincial secretary, who was in a paying job every month, which gave him a form of income, now that he is just a member of the provincial working committee, but not in charge of, not on a full-time basis? What happens in that regard? And also, finally, is this committee going to start from scratch in preparing the regions, which were all due to go to conference this year? I understand, for instance, Johannesburg had actually even announced a date. Does that process start all over from scratch totally, or do they continue with what has been done? And are the regions likely to sit this particular year in any event? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, SG. Should I proceed with other questions? Okay. With that, Semtanda, your hand is up, no? Okay. News 24.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mahlengi. I'm partly covered, but I do want to just ask Mr. Mbalula, how confident are you with the people that you're bringing in as reinforcement, given some of their age? Going into the local government elections, you're competing against parties that aren't scared to field 26-year-olds as deputy mayors, and you're bringing in people, with all due respect, that have a vast experience. But in terms of the energy that is needed to win what will be one of the most hotly contested elections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did I see IOL? Oh, okay. Is there any other hand to the side? No. Okay, I now hand over to the SG.
Panyaza, you want to give Panyaza first?
Oh, yes, because there are direct questions directed.
Thank you so much, Comrade Mahlengi. Truly appreciate that. Maybe let me first start by appreciating the president of the SG and the leadership of the NEC and also welcome the team that have been assigned the task to work in really rebranding and reworking the African National Congress in our province, including the co-convener, Ntate Masondo, Comrade Masondo. Thank you so much for this. The question goes, Nati, I think the ANC will forever assign us tasks. And in assigning us tasks, I don't think the ANC will do so if you are not capable and able to execute those tasks. So we've been given a new task. To me, it's refreshing, exciting, but most importantly, it overstretches our capabilities so that we can be in a position to respond to all the issues our SG has just outlined. The SG has outlined what needs to happen. And in the period where we are in the African National Congress, if you are identified to be amongst those that have to execute this task, it's indeed heartwarming. And we want to take that way and want to commit ourselves that we'll work together as a collective to attend to all these particular issues. In terms of government, we've never had any problem. Wherever there is an opportunity to consult the ANC, we do so at any moment. And I don't think that's something that will change. Where there is an urgent need to consult or urgent need to get mandate or guidance from the ANC, it will happen as it used to happen. So there are no major drastic changes at that particular level. Even the statement that was issued by our SG after the NEC, this particular point was emphasized. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the media, for your questions. First, let me start where Panyaza ended. The ANC leadership have shown a vote of confidence in Panyaza's leadership in government. And that is why he is retained. Because anything other than that would have shown that we don't have confidence in his leadership in government or otherwise. Overwhelmingly, our leadership have endorsed Comrade Panyaza to work with a veteran of the ANC, Comrade Amos Masondo, who will be focusing on organizational issues, particularly his experience in terms of elections and organizing skills. That is good. And we know that they will complement each other very well. And Comrade Panyaza himself must know that our leadership has never been in doubt of his capabilities as our premier in this province. And we want that it must sink and be very clear that he's doing a good job together with his team in government. And yesterday he delivered a very practical state of the province, and which we believe that with the work done, this province will even be better and better under his leadership. So I just wanted to make that point that we are confident to him, his capabilities, his energy, his foresight in terms of leading our people in this province. ENCA pushback or resistance, was there pushback? We would have met the pushback in our meetings. Besides the leakage of information from irresponsible leaders of the ANC, our membership has been very disciplined. Despite the fact that they've known, and some of them have got views which are probably not in favor of any reconfiguration of sorts, and what they've been reading in the media through leakage and all of that, we have not met any pushback from our membership. We did not cut corners. We went to them before and after. And even it is the first time we address the question of reconfiguration post the NEC. We did address this resolution post the NEC, and we explained to you that reconfiguration means a little bit of both reinforcement and disbandment. I explained that in a press conference. And then the president summarized our discussion after 2 days on this matter and made it very clear as to what needs to happen. The NEC adopted that decision. And then we went to implement, and we have concluded. Now, we have not met any pushback from our membership. We address all 5 regions in Gauteng, and obviously there will be temptation to address members of the ANC via the media. We felt, as a principled organization, decency and decorum dictate that we must talk to our structures about the decisions we have taken. Of course, we are guided by democratic centralism in this instance, but nonetheless, it is important, and we owe it to them, that they don't see the SG announcing a decision before he briefs them. And that's what we've done, both here and KwaZulu-Natal. How optimistic are we? We're very optimistic. We are optimistic in the sense that we have brought in skill, experience, and that is why it is characterized as continuity and change. There is a lot of learning that will go with this process, but we say, like we said yesterday, we will patiently, root and branch, build the African National Congress in Gauteng under the stewardship of these comrades. The movement have bestowed upon them faith and trust that in this difficult period, they will be in charge of the journey of the ANC comeback from the setback we have suffered in the past election. And that is why we have gone to the tried and tested in our movement. And so we are optimistic that they will deliver the goods, they will focus the organization on the right path, on what needs to be done. Newsroom, how have we selected veterans? We are the only party that have got veterans in this country. Yeah, we are the only party that have got veterans. The African National Congress, given its history, 113 years. Nagogo nuko. Angisho. Yeah, I'll exclude Gogo because that's where you get experience. Kutiwa indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili. And the thina ke, we've got an abundance. We are spoiled by that as our party. So we're not looking at them to run at the same pace as we do, but we're going to rely on them to succeed, to guide, to be the final word, to be a point of call. Every time you don't attend, you don't understand certain things, it's normal to ask. Even when you are confronted with difficulties at a personal level, organizational level, there are people you ask, how did you resolve this problem in this year and that year? And then we still have such people we can ask, and we can rely on them and their wisdom. So we will never leave our veterans behind in terms of the work that we do. They are a source of inspiration, but wisdom, integrity, and decorum. That's what it means. Asingombuto wa matyaki. Uyabona abafana abancane nje phela. Sinamakhehla la. Uyabona. So sinamakhehla sinomama. Omagogo bethu bakhona la. Xa sixakiwe izinto siyakubo. Sibabuze ukuthi hey sinabo nathi apha ku leadership nationally. Bakhona. xa ubona le nto ingathi iyandiphandla le ukuye phaa ufike uqonqoze uhlale uphuze itiye uthi into enje ijikelwa phi bakucebisa amaxhego ukuthi iqhube ngolu hlobo nolu hlobo. And then that's what it is. So we've got a wealth of these comrades in our ranks, and we have tapped into them to guide us. The time frame, obviously, in terms of the constitution, it's supposed to be 9 months. We expect these comrades to meet immediately by Monday, or probably they will meet not by Monday, by now, as we live here, and determine when are they going to have the strat plan to implement the tasks we've given to them. We didn't say they must do everything under. We have given them not more than 5 tasks that they must define. On top of the list, which is internal, is audit of structures. We said we will patiently, root and branch, rebuild the African National Congress. That task must find expression in the work they will do. So you can't do that without structures and working with fly-by-night structures that don't exist. Yes, people are in a rush for conferences, but root and branch is a master in that hope. Yeah, he's a master disciplinarian. So that's why we went to bother him and then to come back. We have relied on our best of the best in the movement. So we know that task will be done and will be followed up. As our structures respond to the moment, that's how we are going to see, newsroom, that reinforcing this leadership has been a wise decision. So 9 months or so, we expect them to be done. Then we'll have a conference. It's fine. But the priority is the ANC, how it is perceived, and then what the ANC does for umphakathi, for the people here in Gauteng. Sunday World. No, I didn't get that mischievous message. I saw it circulating on platforms. It's possible people can litigate. We'll defend our decision. Anytime. 12 o'clock, anytime, we'll defend it. There are bases for defending it. I know there are people who talk about the size of the PC as the basis for the challenge and all of that. When you intervene, you bring extraordinary measures. That's what you do. In Northwest, when we constituted the PTT there, after disbandment, we had 54 comrades.
Myself and Braambi were there.
Himself and Braambi were there. There were 54. When we constituted the PTT in Limpopo, there were 57. Free State, there were around 58. We've got a good number of young and old comrades whom we have deployed, assigned tasks, and we have made it very clear to everybody here. If anyone is going to come with negative energy into this PTT and this process, we will remove them. There's not going to be a wait for the next conference. You are gone. Because you don't want to be here. This thing of tweeting at night and all of that, it's gone from now. We must tweet at night, Panyaza, defending the movement. Me and Panyaza, we tweet a lot. Yeah. And he get insulted by our opponents. I will defend Panyaza. And then that's what we need to do. We must defend the movement. People must not tweet to undermine structures and the leadership. We have told them, yeah. And I don't single names. I'm not singling out names. We want positive energy. We've got a space to do that. All of us, we are wanted by the ANC. Our revolution is facing existential crisis. The question of who lead the ANC in the future will come and will be settled. It's an easy thing. That's why we have said when that moment comes, at the present moment, we are facing a mountain, right? A mountain which we must climb, Kilimanjaro, and ascend. So this question of who leads and all of that, even when we get there, we might get there, you'll be shocked. There will be no problem. Because we have worked for the movement. From where we are, we must come back. We must recover the lost ground. We can't recover the lost ground when we think about who will lead us. There is leadership at the present moment. We have been led by the president, and then conferences will come and they will make their determination. We said when that time comes, the national leadership will open that space for engagement. So, negative energy will not be allowed. Those who want to take us to court and challenge our decisions to rebuild our party, it's fine. We know who sent them. And what defines this moment is the love for the African National Congress. Not friendship, love for the ANC. That's what defined this moment. All hands on deck. That's what is important. TK will remain full-time in terms of the ANC payroll because he was elected for 4 years, up to next year, July, because you plan for these things. So that will not be tempered. Yeah, and he's dealing with monitoring and evaluation. It's very important task, policy. That's very important work. Is this committee going to start from scratch? No, it's not going to start from scratch. It's going to build on anything that is good that the PEC has done and abandon anything that is a failure out of the door and consolidate the work of the ANC going forward. So that's what is going to happen. All these PEC members are here, so nobody has been taken out. So memory and continuity, that is why we characterize it as continuity and change. And that's what is required. Siamtanda, how confident are we? I think I've answered that. You are an ageist. ANC iyo yodwa iparty enabantu abadala ngoba ine history. We have what ANC have got history. So all these small political parties don't have old people, except one who also came from us, but I'm not going to mention the name. So the ANC is the only party that has got history, and that history is reflected in this leadership. That before us, there were others, and they are still there. And then we are the party of ancestors. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If I can ask all of us to say...
All right, you're going to come out of that live media briefing there from the NCGP Reconfiguration Provincial Task Team announcement. A decision, we are told, was informed by the recent disappointing showing by the province in the May 2024 elections. Yesterday, it was the KwaZulu-Natal PTT that was announced, and today, of course, the Gauteng Province there with its task team, which includes party veterans like Isaac Masondo, who then has been posed to work side by side and very closely with Premier Panyaza Lesufi, whom we are also being told this move will not impede on Panyaza Lesufi meeting out his duties as the Premier of the province. All this, the SG says, to ensure rebuilding of the party ahead of the much important next local government elections.